This video is on the price prediction and technical analysis of the ABSA chart, and as you guys can see at this point in time we are on the monthly chart, and on the monthly chart we can see that at this point in time we're in a very strong upward trend, right, which means that for the most part we should be looking for potential buy opportunities, in my very humble opinion. To add to that, as much as I'm saying that we should be looking for buy opportunities, just note that the market had also given us this pattern over here, which is a head and shoulders pattern, where this section over here is the left shoulder, this would be the head, and this area over here would be the right hand shoulder. And we can also see that this particular pattern has a neckline more or less at that point. And as you guys know, whenever we have these patterns, right, we want to see price closing sufficiently below the neckline, right, which is over here, and then coming back to the neckline to give it a test. And where the neckline is generally where we would look for those potential sell opportunities, right? So what am I saying? So what I'm saying, excuse me, in other words, is that buying ABSA at this point in time is actually not a good idea. And as you guys can see, what we may see happen next is price actually, head down to around this level over here, and that is because that's exactly where this head and shoulders pattern started. It started here, price went up, gave us the pattern, right, and then broke below the neckline, and we may see a situation, as I said, where the market pushes further down to around there to close pretty much in line with where it had started, right? So that's one of the reasons why I say that at this point in time buying ABSA, in my very humble opinion, is not a good idea. But what else do we see, guys, in regards to this chart? Another thing that I also want to point out that is very much important is that as much as we had this head and shoulders pattern over here, the market had also given us this overextended W structure. And again, guys, it is an overextended W structure because the first leg is much lower than that second leg. And whenever we have these patterns such as this overextended W structure, what happens quite a lot is that traders and investors usually buy at that point and they place their stop losses just below, right? So what this means is that, as you guys can see, we actually have a lot of stop losses located here, right? And those stop losses represent liquidity, and liquidity, as I always say, is money that needs to be triggered by the market at one point or another. So it would make sense for the market to push for the downtrend on this level, and in my very humble opinion, at this level is where I would look for those potential buy opportunities, right? However, having said all this, it is also quite possible that this head and shoulders pattern may fail, where we may see the market at this point actually bounce off of this channel over here, right, and then push further up, right? And in as far as looking for potential buy opportunities go at this point in time, I would rather wait for the market to actually close above this channel, right, this channel over here. Once that happens, then I would look for potential buy opportunities at that point. And again, we also have another double top here, and just like with double bottoms or double formations, whenever we have these double tops, traders and investors sell at that point, and they place their stop losses just above, which tells us that we have a lot of money here in the form of stop losses, more or less. And it would make sense for the market, after possibly closing above this channel, right, pushing further up to at least that level to trigger all of those stop losses, right? But myself personally, ideally, I would love to see the market crash, right? Because once the market crashes, then we would look for, or rather I would look for potential buy opportunities at that point, right? And remember that the name of the game, in as far as investing goes, is buy low and sell high. So ideally, we want to buy when the stock is low, right? We want to buy when the stock is low, and we want to sell it when it is high, right? So we want to buy here, and when it reaches these high points, that's where we want to sell.